Welcome back to Half the Battle. I'm your host as always, Daniel Levi, and joining me now is the man that won last week's LFA main event. I'm talking about Jimmy Flick. Jimmy, welcome to Half the Battle.
Hey, man, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So, dude, you're coming off the massive upset. And when I say massive upset, you were a plus 500 underdog against the UFC vet, Johnny Bedford. You go out there, you tap him out. What was it like getting your arm raised?
Oh, man, it was amazing. I told everybody from the get-go Johnny Bedford was underestimating me. He thought he was just going to come out there and walk through me. I didn't pay no attention to the betting odds. I didn't pay attention to all the critics trying to tell me that I wasn't going to do it. I just went out there and did it. I was 100% confident I was walking out with my hand raised, and I did.
Now, Jimmy, you said you didn't pay any attention to the betting odds, but let me ask you this, man. After the fight, were people messaging you, thanking you for cashing that huge underdog play?
No, not personally. I don't think a lot of people knew about it, knew it was that big of a betting odds. I think a lot of people now realize how big it was and wish they would have put the money on me. I did have a few people that was excited about it, and I think I might have had a few people that wasn't too excited about it, that might have lost some money. So I'm just happy I was able to go out there and perform the way I know I can perform and walk out with the win and put Johnny to sleep.
Now, this is a career changer for you, man, because look, they were trying to push Johnny Bedford. He's this UFC vet, but you're a young guy. You go out there, you finish him. Now you're on the radar because we all know LFA is the #1 feeder league to the UFC. So you start winning some fights at LFA, you might get that call. So what was it like when you went back to work the next week and everyone saw that unbelievable finish?
Oh, it's great, man. I'm a delivery driver. That's what I do on the side outside of training and fighting. So a lot of people know that I fight, and a lot of people were following me. A lot of people were watching. I had over 300 notifications the night of the fight. It was just so amazing to be overwhelmed with that, and I'm prepared to step up to the next level and, have people contacting me, knowing who I am, taking pictures with me in public. I'm ready for all that. I'm 10-3. I've been fighting professionally since 2010. My professional debut, I was 0-0 when I fought a 6-2 Humberto De Leon in Bellator. I wasn't supposed to win that fight either. So I've been fighting these odds since day one of fighting as a professional, and I'm just going to keep beating them.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. You make your debut at Bellator back in 2010. Now, you've had a little bit of inconsistency in terms of, you've had a lot of canceled bouts. Do you think people are just scared to fight you?
Yeah, I went back to look at it. The first time I was supposed to fight Will Capizano, he pulled out. I had an amazing training camp for the first time I was supposed to fight him. I ended up fighting a guy with a losing record because Capizano didn't want to fight me. Ended up getting that fight rescheduled. Like I said, some training camps are amazing, some of them ain't, and I've had a few bumpy training camps, but I always show up to fight. Very few fights I've pulled out of, and it's been major injuries. I tore my meniscus and my MCL, put me out for a couple years, and then I've been bouncing back. I've had 5 fights in the last year, and I'm going to stay active. I'm on a 2-fight win streak. I have the 135-pound title here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I'm from, and I'm just going to keep building my resume. I'm trying to get Bellator to give me Joe Warren. I told them I want Joe Warren to take out the baddest man on the planet. So we're going to try to see what's happening.
Oh, you want Joe Warren next. So if that's what you want, I got to ask you this, man. How do you think you would deal with his wrestling?
I think I'll put him to sleep. I think I'll do the same thing I did to Johnny. I think they underestimate me. I'm a young, hungry kid. I got amazing ground game. I'm only a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, but I've been brown belt for over 5 years. I've tapped out multiple black belts. I've grappled Tony Tipton, which is a 170-pound black belt, undefeated in MMA, and I grappled him for 25 minutes straight in a submission only. Nobody's ever submitted me in a fight, and I don't plan on letting anybody. And my stand-up hasn't shown completely yet. I showed a little bit of it with Johnny. I got really good kicks, and I got orthodox stand-up, and I just used my wrestling to use my advantage and do what I like to do, and that's grapple. And until somebody can stop it, I'm going to see where it takes me.
Now that you're officially on the radar, because look, not only winning a main event at LFA, is that going to put you on the radar, but finishing a UFC vet, now people are taking notice. So do you feel like now you're going to be able to take more fights?
Oh, yes, most definitely. I'm really shooting for the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender show. So be ready for anything on short notice with that. A lot of people don't know, though. I was on the radar when I was 6-1. I was on the Ultimate Fighter Season 18 with Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate. I was the #1 alternate. They brought me in. I made weight. I was there. I watched the guys fight to get inside the house. Unfortunately, they didn't let me in the house, and they sent me on my way, gave me a paycheck, and told me I was on their radar. And the guys that missed weight on the shows, like Anthony Gutierrez, y'all can see I tried to fight Anthony. He stole my spot on the Ultimate Fighter, and then just goes in there and misses weight and gets kicked off the show. I tried to fight him to show him I deserved it. He pulled out on me. It was in his hometown in Missouri. And since that day, I've never got an opportunity to fight him again. But, you've seen on Facebook, they wanted somebody to fight Johnny Bedford. Nobody wanted to fight Bedford. I was like, I'll fight Bedford. And I went out there, and not only did I fight Bedford, I beat Bedford. Now I'm ready for the next opportunity.
Holy shit, Jimmy. So you made weight for the Ultimate Fighter. You were the alternate, and then they let Anthony Gutierrez take your spot, and then he misses weight and gets kicked off the show?
Well, I wouldn't say like he took my spot. Like I was the #1 alternate. He was already in the top 16 that was fighting to get into the house. But the way I see it is when he missed weight, that was my opportunity. You shouldn't have never even showed up to the Ultimate Fighter if you're going to miss weight. And that was an opportunity that could have changed my life years ago back in 2012. Now we're in 2017. I'm trying to fight him. He ducked me in his hometown, and I was only fighting for $700 to show, $700 to win. So if anybody knows about fighting, that is nothing for money. So I wasn't fighting for the money. I was fighting to prove a point to him, and I never even got that opportunity. So once I got the opportunity against Johnny Bedford, I took it guns a-blazing, and I went in there and proved to the world that I am going to be noticed, and people are going to know who I am, and I will make the UFC.
Man, it sounds to me like with everything you've been through, now is your time. Now you're ready to reap the fruits.
Yes, sir. Like I said, we have one minor setback with Levi. I've already jumped on a 2-fight win streak. Levi's already off the radar. He lost. So I feel like he's already been kicked to the side. I took his coach out, and I want the top of the division. I also fight at 25. I fight at 135, and I'm undefeated at 145. I fought at 3 different weight classes. And I'm not scared of none of these guys. I mean, I'm a fighter. I get punched in the face on a daily basis at the gym. Going in there and fighting somebody, I shine on TV, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm ready to go out there and show them, I'm 26, and I want this, So it's just a matter of time. I'm going to pick my next fight right and go out there and finish my next opponent. And like I said, I want to be on the Tuesday night Dana White Contender show, to show Dana White, go out there and fight and earn my spot to get to the UFC.
Now, tell me about that grip that you had on Johnny Bedford, because obviously it was beautiful, and he went to sleep right away.
Oh, yeah, and speaking of that, this is a little off. Johnny Bedford, I had major respect for the guy going into the fight, dude, and then after the fight, I don't. If you watch round 2, he starts eye gouging me. And the ref gets onto him. That's how desperate Johnny was in a fight against me. I took his heart, I took his will, and I took his soul. He started eye gouging me, trying to eye gouge me to get out of the fight, and I laughed at him on national television. If you watch it in round 2, he started eye gouging me. Round 1, I feel like I got kneed in the head twice when I was against the cage. And I didn't complain about it. I just kept fighting because I'm a fighter. And then to go out there, and I just kept staying after him with my chokes. I knew he was dying down. I knew he couldn't hang with me. And once I locked that choke in, it's like a reverse rear naked choke from bottom is what I call it, a power guillotine. And once I locked it in, I knew it. And then I rolled him over, and I told the ref 3 times before he stopped the fight. He's like, he's sleeping, but I'm not letting go until you stop it. So it's the best feeling in the world.
Man, that's incredible. So, look, if it's up to you, Jimmy, what's going to be the next step? Is it Dana White Tuesday Night Contender? Is it Bellator? Is it the UFC? Like, if you could decide what's next for you, what would it be?
There's like 3 options I would like. I want a dotted line for Bellator. I want a dotted line for LFA 125, 135 title. They can pick. It doesn't matter to me. Or I'll fight for Dana White's Contender show at 125, 135. I met Dana White one time, and I told Dana, I said, I'll fight at 125, I'll fight at 135. All I need is an opportunity. And when I got the opportunity against Johnny, I took full advantage of it. And when I get another opportunity, I'm going to take full advantage of it too.
Yes, sir. Well, Jimmy, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me right here, right now on Half the Battle. It's been a pleasure. Let the audience know where they can follow you on social media and anything else you want to tell the fans. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm Jimmy the Brick Flick. You can follow me on Facebook at Jimmy Flick, at Twitter at Jimmy Flick, and I have a fan page at Jimmy the Brick Flick. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've wrestled for half of my life. I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I have 8 finishes out of 10. I hardly go to a decision. My losses, I get finished. It's killed or be killed. Y'all want to see fights? Just follow me, Jimmy the Brick Flick, baby.